What's going on, everybody? Trev Wilson here. Welcome back to the Bourbon Wrench. Today, we are going to be ranking all Old Forester bourbons. We're going to be putting them on a tier list system, so assigning them to a specific tier, S being the best, then A, B, C, and then D for the failures. And yes, there might be an Old Forester bourbon that is all the way down there in the D. I like the tier system way of ranking things because I don't have to sit there and think, well, this is my number one favorite, this is my second favorite. You can put them in the tier based on, the price, how good it tastes, all sorts of things compared to each other going on the list. Seen other channels do it with bourbon, super big way of doing it in video games and all sorts of things. So we're gonna give it a shot today, see what I think about these bottles. Now, it's the standard offering stuff. So everything, the Whiskey Row series, the single barrel stuff, the regular offerings. There's no birthday bourbon, there's no allocated bottles, there's no distillery only bottles. We're gonna be covering the offerings that you are much more likely to run into in your journeys. First up on the list is the Old Forester 86 proof bourbon. Coming around $20. This might be or is my favorite sub 90 proof bottle of bourbon. Very crushable, easy sipping, daily sipper, very strong banana candy notes off of this one, and I love that note. I think this bottle's perfect for people getting into bourbon, to be exposed to bourbon, or if you are already into bourbon, I think this is a great daily sipping option, or even a lower proof offering. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood to drink high proof stuff. I want something lower proof, a little more casual and chill. Perfect option for that. That being said, I think it is kind of run of the mill standard stuff. I think it's a lot better than a lot of stuff on the shelf, but as far as Old Forester offerings go, I think it's kind of right in the middle there. So on the tier list, I would put this in the B. And just as a sidebar, a B+. This is top of the B side of things for me. Absolutely love it. Now, moving on to the second bottle, which is kind of another reason why this went into the B, is because Old Forester 100 proof exists. To me, this is what just opened my eyes to Old Forester. I started with the 86, I loved it. Moved on to this one because they're literally the same price, and it was everything I loved about the 86, but more. Higher proof, you're getting more spice, you're getting a little more complexity. It's not the most complex thing, especially compared to some other things on this list, but as a daily sipping budget bourbon option, I think it is hands down one of my go-to favorites. For that, I'm putting it over the 86 proofer. I'll put it in the A class. Again, this is so hard to beat for that budget bottle to my palate. Really hard to beat this. It competes with a lot of higher end stuff, even some stuff on this list. So let's keep on moving. We're gonna get into the Whiskey Row series. All right, first bottle on the Whiskey Row series, the Old Forester 1870 small batch. Now, I've been talking so highly about these bottles, and here we go. I don't really like this. In my eyes, it's definitely the weakest of the Whiskey Row series by a lot. It's almost one that after I try it, I don't think I will be buying another one. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it is a failing grade, but this was the first bottle of Old Forester that I tried that I really actually got youthful notes. Like I got grain notes. Even on the 86 and 100 proof one, I don't get that. It's pure sweet chocolate. This is where I started seeing that grain, and I don't know why. I don't know what is different about it in that aspect, but I just don't care for it, especially for the price. Like I said, the Old Forester 100, it's $20, it's $22. Why would I pay double that for something that I think doesn't even taste as good as that? So, but like I said, I don't think it's a fail. I'm not super mad that I bought this. I'm glad I tried it, and I'm glad I formulated that opinion myself. But, probably put it in the C category, C minus, just kind of, there. It just doesn't compete with the other ones. So All right, moving on to the next bottle in the Whiskey Row series, the Old Forester 1897 Bottled in Bond. Now, I love this bottle. I think it's super overlooked or passed on. Again, going back to the Old Forester 100 proof, that bottle really shakes things up, I think. I think the issue with the Bottled in Bond here is that stuff like the 1920 exists and things like the Old Forester 100 proof exists. The argument they might have is, why would I pay that when I pay a few more dollars, I get the 1920? And on the other hand, why would I buy this when there's already a 100 proof version that's half the price? I think this fits a different layer. I think it's definitely different than the 100 proof version. I think it's like a fancier version of the regular 100 proof. To me, I think this is a solid bottle. This is a rebuy for me, so when I finish it, I'm buying it again. But where I'm gonna put it in my ranking though is kind of because of the price and that argument. I could really think I would put this maybe at A, but I think I am gonna put it in the B tier though. I think it, my palate might want to put it in the A. I put it in the A, huh? Put it into the A list, but I just think, all things considering, there's other bottles in the price range that I might enjoy a little more. So I'm happy with putting it into the B. Really solid bottle. I think if this is one that you have been passing by, it's worth trying. All right, moving on. Next bottle on the list, the King 1920 Old Forester Prohibition style. This is just top tier whiskey to me. I think this is on so many bourbon lovers' top favorite pours. The price is good, the flavor is amazing. Quintessential full flavor bomb Old Forester. This is easy for me. This has got to be S tier. It's amazing. Love this stuff. Now, I've seen and heard talks about the old label versus the new label. I haven't side by sided them, but I'm thoroughly enjoying this new label offering just as much as at least my mind remembered liking the old one. As long as it's really good and the price stayed the same, yeah, I'm cool. This bottle kind of became the benchmark. You know what I'm saying? Like, bourbon has to be at least this good. If you're to charge that price, it's got to be at least this good. That's kind of was the starting, benchmark for me. So yeah, the 1920, no surprise to me. I think a lot of people would probably put it up in that S class. So let's move on. The next bottle, gonna go to Old Forester 1910 Old Fine Whiskey. Again, really, really love this bottle. I think this one is different in the fact that it is a double oaked, so it really stands out compared to the other Old Forester bottles. But I think that is a good thing compared to other double oaked bottles. I think this has got to be my favorite. Perfect winter time, fall time, sit by a campfire bourbon. It is amazing. So for all of those reasons, I gotta put this in the top. It's right next to the 1920 for me. I think going in the store and picking up a 1920 and a 1910 is one of the best things you can do, because you essentially get 3 bottles there. You got an amazing double oaked with the 1910, you got a hitter with the 1920, you blend them together to create the 1915, it's a perfect blend. S tier to me. I think it just really holds its own in the Old Forester line, and it holds its own against the other double oaks that are out on the shelf. All right, now, Whiskey Row's done. We're left with 3 more bottles, kind of the obscure ones, the single barrel, and the next bottle, Old Forester Statesman. Where do we start with this bottle? I dislike this bottle. I do not like it. Not even a little bit. It's not for me. This one, I think, definitely doesn't represent the Old Forester flavor profile. The other ones kind of carry that Old Forester DNA. Then this is kind of just plopped in there. And the big issue is it's plopped in there with a price tag that is totally unjustifiable to me. It's one of those bottles. I simply would not buy this bottle over the 100 proof, the $20, the 86 proof. I'm sure a lot of people like this bottle, but it's kind of a gamble. I'm putting it in the D tier. To me, this is not a rebuy. It's hard for me, you know, I always say, formulate your own opinions. If you're someone who's tried this, let me know down below what you think of it, and more specifically, how you think it compares and ranks compared to the other one. So if people are on the fence about this, they're not just listening to me, caution. You know, if you're gonna go in the store and get this, just heed my warning that you might not like it. I think if you're on a budget, there's better options. So hate to rip on it, but it's just, I don't like it. All right, last two bottles, the single barrel. So we're gonna start with the Old Forester single barrel proof version of the two. Really, really like this bottle. It's a hitter. This was something everyone was like, we want a barrel proof Old Forester. Come on, give it to us, baby. And then they gave it to us. And I think its detriment to me is that they gave it to us. Like, these things can be hot. Spicy hot, drink hot, ethanol hot. Again, we gotta state the obvious. These are single barrels, so kind of the ranking could be different. Some bottles could be really, really good. Some barrels could be not so good. But just average, I've heard a lot of that. It's kind of a reoccurring thing that they can be really hot. So I think it is really enjoyable though, especially when you get a good one. So just averaging out, to me, I would still probably put this in the A tier. They're really great. They're fun. Again, you can get some really exceptional ones. And just know you might get one that's a B or C tier because it is just gonna melt your face off. So just know that going into it. And that leaves us the final bottle, the Old Forester single barrel, the 100 proof version. Just like I said about the Old Forester, you know, the single barrel proof, the detriment of being too hot, and that's what brought it down. Well, this proof brings this one back up. I think out of the two single barrel offerings, these are by far my favorite. I think that 100 proof range is where it really shines. This is amazing. This is incredible stuff. Again, single barrel. You might not have, you know, S tier version, but the ones I've had are easily S tier to me. Absolutely love them. The price is great. The flavor is freaking amazing. My problem is I wish I could just find more of them. I really want more. I'm scared to keep drinking this. So the single barrel store pick ones, you know, probably the harder of the bunch on the list to get. Some people might get a lot more of them than the others. Some of you might not have ever seen them, but if you're in an area that has a pick of this, definitely worth trying them. I think it's great whiskey. So there we have it. That's all of the Old Forester bottles ranked. Let me know what you think about my ranking, how you would rank them. Do you agree with it? Which bottles would you switch around? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, leave a like. Go comment down below what you think about all this list, the ranking. If you're not subscribed, do it. It's free. You want to support me more, get access to barrel picks and merch, you know, cool Kinsey glasses, stuff like that. Check out the Patreon page. And until next time, guys, I'm Trev Wilson. I'll see ya in the next video.